I'm Keauno Perez, and this is Bear, brought to you by Giddy.
Hello, everyone. We are here today with Keauno Perez. Really excited to be chatting with you. Thank you so much for joining us.
I'm excited to be here.
It's going to be so great. I'm most excited because you're now back in Austin, starting a new job. Give us an update.
I'm starting like a whole new book, I feel like, here. I landed a job, and now I'm like apartment hunting, and I'm going to be living here. I'm so excited. I'm at such like I feel like blessed, sometimes stressed, but that I've like lived multiple lives within my one life, and it just feels like a whole new life.
Have you felt any sort of like hesitation coming out and being openly gay in a new city? You're from Texas, but like moving from where you're from to Austin, like what's that kind of felt like, that sort of shift into a new city?
Yeah, I don't know. A wave of emotion just hit me.
That's
Sorry.
fine.
I was telling you earlier that I feel normal, and like the first time for once when I'm in Austin, I feel normal as me, which is like a gay man. And I'm smiling right now saying that because it's so bizarre for me to say that, because for 28 years, I never thought I was normal. And so when I moved to Austin, that's the first time I saw like queer couples holding hands. I'm like, wait, what? Like, and I remember I teared up the first time I saw it. I was like, I've never like openly like just out in the city. I'm like, this is beautiful. Like, this is where I belong. And I think I've visited so much, and now I'm gonna be living here. That's like normal to me. And I'm like, that's so crazy that I feel normal as a gay man. But I will admit, doing a Netflix show, it's kind of right. My like social media, like publicity is kind of higher. And I do get nervous because before the show, maybe like 20%, if that, people in my life knew I was gay. No, not even 20, I'd say 10%. And so I get nervous about people that knew me before. And then, just growing up in like small town, being closeted, I was closeted for a reason. I think about others of people's opinions. But at this point, I know if I shouldn't think about what other people think if it's negative, but I do, it's like 28 years, it's something hard.
You're human.
Yes. And so that part is hard coming out, like thinking there's people that, don't think I have the right to get married or have kids, or like, to me, those are like basic to live. Like I don't know, that's just really sad to me. And so I admit I fight with that.
So we've been talking about, your hesitation around coming out. I know you grew up in like the sort of middle of nowhere, Texas. Is that what kind of spurred you to like take your time with coming out? Was it feeling like people wouldn't accept you? I would just love to know a little bit more about like what coming out has looked like for you between hesitation and now living out loud.
I would say one of the hardest questions I receive from people, and I don't know if I fully have answered it because I think I don't fully know the answer, is like, when did you know, or you had to know? And maybe it's just they're so sensitive. I'm like, and so I usually like veer off giving them an answer. But I was just like, until I was 25, which I was, in my career, like I was a man, at 25, I couldn't even come to terms that I was gay. So I'm like, in college, people are always like, you had to know in college. Is like that word, like for me to think like I am gay was so like, I don't know, explain it. Like there's no possibility. And I think I know, I grew up religious. And so to me, it was like, you're going to hell if you're gay. And I always felt like, I always try to help people. Even before my new job at TikTok, I worked in higher education. And so I dealt with crazy things from students who had like mental crisis, suicide ideation. And it was just such a helping job. And I'm like, I feel like I'm helping the world, but like, why am I still gonna go to hell? And it was just hard thinking like, I feel like I'm a good person. I know you can't say like, I'm a good person. I usually feel like people who say that aren't. But, like I'm trying to be a good person, but like I'm gonna go to hell. And I just had to come to terms that like the God I believe in loves everyone. And so like he made me this way. And I remember at 25, like praying every night, like not to be gay. I feel so bad saying that, but I want to be honest. Like I used to pray like, please, like I want to like woman. Like I used to imagine me with a wife and kid, which I think is crazy now, but I didn't know. We also didn't know gay people. People sometimes they laugh. They're like, oh, like your friends or family, how to know someone's gay? Is like, no, like now that I'm out, I'm that person. When they meet gay people, they're gonna be like, oh, I have a gay friend, and it's gonna be me. So it's like I was just in an environment where like we didn't know gay people. And so, the word gay was used as a negative, I was bullied when I was younger, they used to use the F word. And so it was just, I think, I feel like that's a lot.
I want to circle back and ask about what has it been like moving forward with the relationships from your past, like people who knew you before you came out, your family, the quote conservative people in your life. What has it been like inviting them in to know the new you?
I would say majority of positive experience, actually surprising experience. I had the expectation coming out, I was going to lose a lot of like my college friends. That's like who majority I was friends with before. However, like people I thought were going to like unfollow me on social media were like the first to comment, to text me, like, so proud of you. Sometimes they don't know what to say. I guess that would go into my family. Coming out, and kind of why I didn't really want my family too much on the show. I didn't know what the show was gonna, if it needed them or what, was because my mom even admitted it. She's like, I don't want to say something that's wrong. And I'm like, I feel like in today's culture, it's very cancel culture, and I don't want them to cancel my parents. It's just, again, we didn't grow up with anyone that was gay. And so my mom will ask me questions sometimes where I'm like, you can't ask that, or like there's a simple answer, but I understand she just doesn't know. And they like care in their own way. My dad doesn't have Instagram, and he just made a TikTok, and I'm the only person he follows to like keep up with him. And he'll shoot me a text about like the TikTok. He's like, I didn't know if you didn't want me to comment, but this is what I would say. And they care and they love. And we haven't had this talk. I probably need to. I think it's hard on them because they don't know how to communicate it. But I'm very thankful in that when I came out to them, which was the Thanksgiving before the show, so not even a year before the show, we didn't really talk too much. There's a few tears and hugs, but I knew I wasn't going to lose them. Like I knew I'm very fortunate in that I knew my parents love me. My fear was kind of on them. Like I felt bad for them to have the gay son. Like we live in a small town. I didn't want the people to be like, oh my gosh, like the Perez's have the gay son. And I just felt bad. And my parents have been through so much. I'm like, I feel like this was the last thing they need. I've kind of changed that mindset. Like I shouldn't be thinking that way. I know it's just how I do, but they're proud of me, and they talked about their friends to me, and their friends all watch the show. So sorry, that was a long answer.
No,
but
that's so bad. Also want to like hold your hand for a second. I love that.
Thank you.
You're very brave. Don't let anyone take that from you. You're valid and loved.
Thank you. I'm why do I keep getting emotional? That's why I'm so thankful for Austin. And growing up in Texas, I was scared to do the show in Austin because I know Austin's very like, don't make this LA, don't move here. And I'm like, y'all, like we might be hated. But I get I see people in the streets and they come hug me and they're like, you belong here. Are you here yet? And I'm like, this city is like, has my back. Like even when I post, and I'll get DMs on like people wanting to support me, or hey, do you want to go out? And so I'm like, this city really is like been so accepting to me, and I'm like, I love her, and I'm so fortunate for like the people here in Austin.
What gets you giddy?
I would just say like life and people. Also coffee. I was like, coffee makes me giddy.
Okay, that was a cute answer. But like, what gets you giddy?
Like horny, right?
Yeah.
Coffee, but for real, I'll drink like two sips, and I'm like, why do I feel this way? But giddy also, what does? I have to like get to know someone before I find them attracted. Is that weird?
No.
Like, and so someone who's like smart. Like I love someone who's able to like inform me on things, or who is informed. And so I was like, right now that's like my biggest turn on is just someone who like
intellectual.
Yes, like smarter than me. I don't know why I find that like so attractive.
Because it is attractive.